So thank you. I think we're live again back on the Mike Eure Show. And thank you, Mike, again for allowing me to be a guest co-host and inviting a friend and colleague, Mr. Tom Browne, to our Black Music Month and Juneteenth celebration. So thank you again, Michael.
Thank you,
And
Mike.
with that, yes, thank you. Um, and I think with that, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump right back into our history lesson before Tom takes us home. Again, so Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom and the outlaw of slavery for everyone, especially our enslaved ancestors who obviously were most disaffected and most affected by the horrible institution of slavery. But make no mistake about it, slavery was a curse on the land for everyone, white, black, Indian, young, old. And it afflicted everyone and it caused many perverse laws and customs that one of the reasons that we celebrate in Juneteenth and Freedom Today is we're still fighting against many of those customs that literally descend from laws from slavery and the Reconstruction era, and literally 20th century Jim Crow, separate and unequal laws. Yet Juneteenth was the first aspiration of freedom here in North Carolina, literally after 200 years of actual slavery. Now you think about that for a moment here in North Carolina, with the Carolina Charter in 60, literally the fall of Fort Fisher, with the capture of the United States and the passage of the 13th Amendment, there are 202 years of legal sanctioned slavery. And if you think about the math, we're only 155 years removed from the legal curse of slavery. So we are still unlearning many of the customs, as has been in some of our most recent news. So I think Mike is on the show. Do you want to chime in, Mike, or?
No, we've had some technical difficulties, but thank you, Earl. You've been a very good co-host. And we're going to bring you back in a little bit later, but I know that the audience is wanting to hear something from Mr. Browne, who is a pilot, by the way. If any of you missed it, he flew all the way to Texas, which is a great place to be celebrating Juneteenth. And I thank you, Earl, for bringing him to the Museum of History during one of our African-American cultural celebrations of where we serve on board together. And so, Mr. Browne, tell us a little bit about what you want to talk about today and give us some concert.
Well, music is probably the healing balm that enables me to stay sane in the midst of everything that's going on out there. Thank God for our history, because that's what we grab onto and relate to as we move forward. That's what's going to keep all people, I think, moving forward. Is just you cannot know where you're going without know where you've been. And so I am just thankful for that. I'm not pleased to see what's happening out there in the world with certain individuals, but it is what it is, and we've always been a strong people. I think we'll prevail through this as well. But music is my sanity, to say the least. And thanks for having me on. I'll try to provide a little bit of it right here.
All right. So Earl and I will be leaving now, and you'll have it to yourself, sir.
All righty. Well, let's see what I could do. I got a couple of tracks in here that let me see if I can get the ball rolling with a little track that was made popular by Herbie Hancock, but I'm going to see what I can do on this.
All right. Thank you. And
yeah,
anybody in the audience that has a question, you can type it in the chat, question or a comment.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know that was excellent. And we know that you just getting a little bit of breath, but you're used to doing concerts. So we want you to go ahead and do another set. Do another one if you got it ready.
Well, let's see. What do I have? I got, it's funny because I got all these tracks on this computer. I'm trying to just see what might be appropriate here. And I'm not going to play that Jamaica funk.
Now you have a new album that you just put out. Tell us a little bit about that and play something.
There's a new one that's actually coming out shortly. It's called "Come What May," and it's a dedication to my wife's victory over breast cancer. She had double stage 1 breast cancer a few years back, and God was good. We caught it early. Her going through that is perhaps the reason I'm still out here doing this flying gig, working, because health insurance is so critical as an additive to the job. So here I should be retired from flying. I'm 65, but I'm. It is what it is, and I got to keep my wife healthy, so that's why I'm not doing that. But the new album is dedicated to her. So Come What May. The single coming out next month on July 7th on Intervision Records, and the single's called "Just Work." So that's the first one from the album coming out.
Very good.
I'm sorry. We have so many technical difficulties. We got to have you come back and do it completely smoothly.
Oh,
but for now, I'm just interested in hearing some more music.
All right.
So Earl and I are stepping away again and giving it back to you.
All right. Well, here's something that's from that new CD. It was a track that I dedicated to my wife, and it's called "Mi Amor."
Ooh, oh, my darling, can't you see? The only one for me in my life, you, me, and more. Oh, my darling, I ain't true. I choose just for you.
Thank you. And we're going to just take a time to ask you one question. Do you write your own music?
Quite a bit of it. A lot of the material on this album and the last couple of albums was co-written by the lady who was singing, actually, Joyce San Mateo, who's a great singer out of the Netherlands, and myself. So we did most of the writing on the records.
And I noticed that in your earlier days, and I guess even now since you can fly, you used to perform in a lot of countries, France, England, Germany. How was that experience for you?
For a jazz artist, it's great. You know, going abroad, you can sense and see the difference between a nation that's got 250 years of history versus a nation that's been around for 5, 6, 7,000 years. When I go to Europe, I go to England. England is so rich a country with African immigrants and people coming in from all over the place, and it's just basically, hey, how you doing? You know, it's everyone is used to and accustomed to the variety of cultures and the spice of life. And I enjoy that. I don't necessarily get that as much over here, so I enjoy traveling quite a bit.
And I don't know if Earl may have asked you this earlier when I was backstage and couldn't get upstage, but did you give us your contact information if individuals want to get in touch with you and maybe do some things with you? Yeah,
sure. They can go straight to my website, which is Tom Browne, TOMBROWNE.org. I tried to get .com, but someone had beat me to it and tried to charge me $3,000 for my own name, and so I said, no, that ain't gonna work. Tom at tombrowne.org, or you can email me at tom@tombrowne.org, or if you go to Facebook, you can go to Tom Browne Jamaica Funk on Facebook.
And for the audience, and just because you don't know, he is very down to earth. So if you email him, he will email you back.
Absolutely.
And those of you that might have some young people interested in music, or even, I guess, do you still work with the young people, teaching them how to fly?
I do. I was, this job has taken up so much of my time, but I was very involved with a gentleman named Warren Wheeler. Mr. Wheeler runs an organization called Car Wings, and also Airliner Flight Support, which is right out of Hayti Heritage Center in Durham. And we're teaching young kids primarily our kids, primarily African American kids, to earn their wings and get into places like Elizabeth City State.
We're going to ask that, Tom, if you want to just do one or two others, and we're going to end it like that. And I'd like to thank everybody for participating. And Earl, we'll just have to bring you back to talk about Juneteenth a little bit more, maybe next week, because right now we're not going to be able to get all that important information out. So Earl and I are gone, and it's up to you, Tom. And thank you, Earl, and thank you, Tom, for coming today.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
Mike.
having me.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Let's see. I said I wasn't going to do Jamaica, but I do have it in the queue here. I have a little version of it. So I got to do that. He is an ordinary guy thing. And let me see if I can get that. See if I get that queued up somehow. Wait a minute now. Yeah. Yeah, man, something like that. Now, y'all notice, I know y'all notice, this has been out for too long. This was out when I had hair, okay? So I know y'all notice. So when time comes around, you got to sing this with me, all right? So I'll let you know. Oops. All right, here we go. Yo, Mike. I need someone named Mike. There's Mike out there, right? Where's Mike? Where's Mike? Where's Mike? There's Mike right there. There's Mike. Trying to cue. Here we go. 1, 2. Yo, Mike. You got that man. You got that man. Man, go ahead and take it to the cosmos. Look at that free one. That else is should pass that now. Oh man, the pants are walking. You know what she look like? She look like Betty Boop. You look like Betty Boop. Betty Boop. A boo boop doo. Betty Boop and alley-oop was jumping up and down. This is the craziest song I ever wrote. Said Betty Boop to alley-oop. All right, y'all. Bridge time. Jamaica Funkin, what? Hey, y'all, thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate you, your support live music, support what's going on, and pass the word around. God bless y'all.
Well, we want you to stay a little bit longer. We found out we have some questions in the queue, and I don't want the audience to think we ignore them. If you can just answer them really quickly.
Absolutely. Let me see what's... So let me go over the live comments here. See, it says...
What actionable steps would you offer to aspiring artists studying music, entertainment related programs?
The most important thing that I tell, to me, the most important thing I tell a lot of young budding musicians is to study the business of music. Musical talent is a gift from God that can be developed, but the ability to make your sustenance for years to come, rather than giving it away to a record label, which would very much desire for you to do that, is the key. I've put music out from 1979, 1980 that I'm still getting a lot of royalties on. So the key is to learn the business of music, learn how to make the music business work for you. And that means learn your publishing rights, your writer's rights, what copyright is, how to get your copyright. Those are the aspects that I really want to work with young people on, because, you know, someone's so gung-ho to get a record out that they forget that they're just making someone else rich, and, you know, off of their blood, sweat, and tears. and they're happy to get a record out. And so that's not the way to go.
Now, Flo, how you doing? She just said she was late coming, but she would like to know how to get copies of your CD.
The new CD will be out on Intervision Records. It's a very, very fine smooth jazz label. It should be available on iTunes, Amazon, or if you go directly to the Intervision Records website, you can find out how to get those directly. But it should be available online almost everywhere.
Well, I think that does it for us. And you've been really good, and we're going to bring you back, and we're going to bring you back, Earl, as well. And thank you again. And I want you to take us out, Tom. We're just going to take advantage of the fact you got that trumpet with you. Let's do one more song, and then we're gone.
How about what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's do something. Oh, sorry, I cut myself out there. Let's do something for the times, and since we're in the midst of something that is that we're all trying to make our way through, and that's this COVID situation. Here's something that was for my wife, but it applies to COVID also, and the song is called "I Believe." It actually features Joyce San Mateo, so I'm going to let her words minister as we go out. Here's "I Believe."
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody, just check out the words and what she's saying. It's about right now.
I hear you crying in my dreams, my aching heart screams. I see that fear deep in your eyes, but hope never dies. Don't say goodbye to all these rocky shores, for ourselves upon the sea. Until then, you know that I believe the worst of this storm will pass, and I see a shining light that's gonna last. We'll be free from that awful past. Our prayers have been heard tonight. I believe. Oh, I believe. We live our lives on borrowed time. There's no reason or rhyme. That's why each moment I'm with you. It's like a wish that's come true. I need you by me, baby, oh so bad. Without you, I just can't conceive. We'll pull through, 'cause I know I believe.
Thank you again, Tom. And for the audience, next week, we'll have Ronisha Stewart and friends, and they'll be doing some old school ballads and talking about the history of African-American music. And Tom, I can't thank you enough for coming. And Earl, thank you so much for introducing me to him some time ago. And we will hopefully have both of you back in the future. And till next time, next week, we'll see you at 12 o'clock on the Michael Eure Show. And I will announce this is also going to be on YouTube. For you who went through our technical difficulties, it will be edited and up for you to view starting this evening. Thank you.
Thanks all.